Welcome into the first episode of Game Recognized Game. We are a little late. We were supposed to be on here at 8 o'clock, but we'll get it back. We'll get it right. We'll get it right next time, man. This is a
Yeah,
long
I'm,
time
I'm gonna
coming.
take I'm gonna take the blame for that. Had some technical difficulties on this side, so we had to kind of postpone a little bit, but we all good. And exactly, we all good, and I'm excited for this, man, for real.
It's a long time coming. This one is a long time coming, man. Um, Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to you, Ty. We finally got it to work. Said you came in last minute and
Happy to
locked
be
it in.
here.
Yeah, said you came in last minute and locked in for us. We appreciate that. We did this for a full year in Syracuse. We just didn't have video, so
Right,
this should be decent, right? Like this should be decent. We should be able to figure this one out.
for sure.
Bet. Who want to go first? Who got the well, first of all, how's everybody been since capstone ended, since graduation, all that? How's everybody been?
You know what I'm saying? I can't complain. Daddy duties over here, stuff like that, and then applying to jobs, waiting on the first opportunity. But besides that, we're gonna be on this pod weekly, and you know what I'm saying. We're gonna build it up like that. So
For sure, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm
Said, how you
excited to
been,
get
man?
this going again. I mean, Kobe, I know you did NFL training camp as well. I spent my time in Green Bay with the Packers, getting to cover them, and obviously they look really, really good right now to start the year. So that was pleasure to be there in Green Bay, and happy to renew the pod with y'all.
For sure, for sure, for sure. We got one viewer in the chat, man. Shout out my
you too,
dog,
man.
Hollywood. Hollywood, you are the first viewer to pop in, bro. Shout out to you, man. Let's get this thing rocking, man. Let's get this thing rocking. Let's do it like this. Let's do it like this. So we did this in Syracuse and said you were actually like, like the moderator of it. Like you kept me and Ty on track. So let's kind of y'all think we should do it like that again? I think we should
You
do it
want
like
to
that
kind
again.
of have the same format?
Yeah. Like said, you keep us on track, man. You keep the questions going. You keep the questions rolling. Let's
That's
do it like
fine. That's
that.
fine. I'm willing to take that role again. Let's go.
All right, bet. So let's actually move us around. Me and Ty down here. Said you up there. Does everybody see the switch? Everybody see what I just did? Everybody seen the switch that just happened?
They're in the same spot for me, but you know what I'm saying?
Ah,
It's all good. We gonna
all
rock
right.
and roll. You hear
Viewers
me?
might be seeing something different. So,
Nah, that's that. That's
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, let's try it like this. Let's go. All
Ah,
right, bet.
there
yeah,
we go.
Y'all can,
There we go.
there
There we
is
go.
it's
Now
good
I see
now.
it.
It's
yeah,
set up top.
yeah.
Set up
Set up
top.
top.
All right, bet. So
Yes,
said then
sir.
you gonna run the questions. Let's do it like that.
All right. So, Ty, I think that we had talked about the best 2-0 teams and the worst 2-0 teams. Your takeaways coming out of this NFL Week 2. There were a lot of crazy games, both Week 1 and Week 2. But there's also a good amount of injuries as well. So, out of the best 2-0 teams right now, who do you got?
I gotta roll with the Packers. I feel like at this point in time, it's hard not to roll with the Packers, especially after what they just did to my boys on Thursday Night Football. I'm like, and going into the game, I'm like, yeah, we got a chance to win. Two drives. I'm texting the group chat like, shit, can we? Can we win? I don't know. That defense, something serious over there. Adding Parsons, adding Micah does wonders from them. They were already a good group. Adding Micah takes them over the top. Yeah, I already know why you're shaking your head. I'm shaking your head with you because why did I do that? Who knows? But adding
Hey,
Micah
let it be
talk,
known that the day I left Green Bay was the day they signed Micah. So I left at the perfect time, of course.
I would have been mad as shit. But no, for sure, adding Micah was a huge get for them. And obviously, the offense is great. Matt LaFleur is one of the best offensive minds in football. So they got a good thing going right now. But when you make a move like that, you want to win you want to win the big game. You want to win a Super Bowl. So now, obviously, they start off 2-0. That's great. But now it's kind of continue to build on what they started and see if they can get to that big game. But my best team right now out of 2 weeks got to be the Packers.
It hurts me to say that Ty is right, man. The best 2-0 team in the league right now is the Packers. And Michael Parsons is there. And frankly, Michael Parsons' impact on the team is much greater than just on the field right now. Like if you listen to the guys in the locker room when they're talking, you know, they're talking in the locker room and they're doing their post game interviews, their post practice interviews, and all they're saying is Micah. Like they're just singing Micah's praises. You ask, what's that corner they got over there? That corner they got over there. They asked him like, oh, what's the difference this year? He was like, we got Micah. It was a very simple answer for them, right? So Micah makes everybody's job easier because he rushes the passer. Quarterback got to get the ball, got to get rid of the ball faster. Defensive line, you know, get to moves more free. The linebackers especially get to move much more free. You can't get up to the second level if you got to worry about double teaming Micah. You can't get to the second level. Edgerrin Cooper looks amazing right now. That whole linebacker room looks amazing. And so they're balling. And then on the offensive side, if you know your defense is playing like that, I ain't seen Jordan Love play this free since you know what I'm saying in some time. So obviously, you know, it hurts me to say because the Cowboys, my team, y'all see who my team is, man. My team got rid of Michael Parsons. They you know, they traded him off. And you know what hurts the most about that? What hurts the most about that is that the Packers are just oddly linked to the Cowboys for so many different things, but mainly for winning. They just flat out beat us all the time. You get to the playoffs, and it feels like if you think to some of the craziest losses the Cowboys have had in the playoffs, obviously a lot more recently, a lot of people are thinking about the 49ers ones, but you think about Dez and the catch. He caught it, first of all. You think about you know, Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball, you know, 40 yards down the field on the sideline on a crazy third down. Like it's just a lot of things that happen with the Packers and the Cowboys that it hurts me that Jerry sent him to Green Bay. Because it's like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? We have to see these guys in the playoffs, and that's where you sent them to. That hurts the most. I think that hurts more than
y'all won't see him in the playoffs, but the Eagles or the Commanders might.
No, yeah, I mean, you know, hopefully
it's early. Y'all might.
Hopefully, we even make the playoffs at this point, right? Like, hopefully, we even make the playoffs, and we'll get to my team. I think we'll be okay. But it just hurts that Jerry sent our best player to a team that is constantly beating us. Come down the stretch.
And let me just say this. I had the pleasure of watching this team for like 6 weeks on end throughout training camp. And all these boys were dogs in camp even before Micah Parsons got there. I feel like Micah Parsons was the missing piece. Actually, throughout training camp, the defense had been beating the offense more often than not. I mean, I expected young guys to emerge this year. Watch out for Carrington Valentine. He was a dog in training camp. He's going to do some big things. He wants to lead the league in turnovers this season. Was his ultimate goal heading in. So that remains to be seen. But there's a lot of good young pieces on the Packers defense where even though, you know, they lose Jair Alexander, I still think that, you know, getting Micah Parsons in here, this unit is balling right now.
Yeah. It hurts. It hurts. But that being said, who is your worst? Let's start with the best. Who is your bet? No, let's keep it at the 2-0 teams. Who is your worst 2-0 team? Who is the team that you're like, they 2-0, but I don't believe in it. I don't believe.
Honestly, it would probably be the Cincinnati Bengals right now. I mean, they did find a way to beat Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence at the last second. Jake Browning comes into the game. But I just don't see this team doing all too well without Joe Burrow. I mean, we saw this same picture 2 years ago. You know, maybe Jake Browning can keep the team right around 500 mark. We'll see. There's still a lot of firepower on that offense. There's some flaws defensively for sure. But in terms of all the 2-0 teams, I mean, you got to go with one of the teams that's going to have the backup quarterback for the next 3 months.
That is a fair assessment. I won't lie. I, on the other hand, I'm going to have to roll with the Colts. And it's only for one reason.
Okay. Colts look good, though, against Miami and Denver.
I give credit where credit is due. Their first 2 games, they look good. Daniel Jones, he looked good. I'm going to give credit where it's due. However, I just don't think Daniel Jones is going to be able to sustain that kind of success for 17 games. We watched him enough when he played with the Giants. I think right now it's fool's gold. Obviously, I'm not praying on his downfall. I just don't think when they get enough film on him with that offense, I think it's going to be easy for them to stop. The defense will be fine. The defense will still be there. I just don't know. Like, they haven't punted in 2 games. They're not doing that the entire season. So and even in the last game, he had some turnover-worthy plays. When the tide starts flipping for them and Daniel Jones becomes who he is, what would they look like then? It was a hot topic for them to choose to start him over Anthony Richardson. Not saying I disagree with the move, but all in all, what happens when you fall back to the pack like you probably should be and probably where you're going to be? Do you stick with Daniel Jones? Do you go back to AR? But all in all, I feel like for me, the Colts right now are probably, outside of the Bengals, of course, like you mentioned, because Burrow's not playing, they're probably the most fraudulent 2-0 team for me at the moment. But obviously, things can change. They could obviously continue to get better and be better, because when you get the tide flowing in the right direction for you, sometimes that's all it takes, and you can take off. I just don't think for them that's gonna happen for them. So we're gonna see though.
Yeah, so oddly enough, like I agree with both of y'all, but I disagree for a few reasons. One, Ty, you talked about the quarterback. So let's go with you to the Colts. The problem is that they have 2 capable quarterbacks. Now I say capable, very like I'm struggling with that, but you got Daniel Jones. You got 2 quarterbacks that have both started in the league. You got Daniel Jones and you got Anthony Richardson, which means not that they're interchangeable, so to speak, but if things go awry with Daniel Jones, then you can go Anthony Richardson. Or if it keeps working with Daniel Jones, then you keep him there. And Daniel Jones is out there playing with a vengeance right now. He's playing like he's got something to prove. So that's why I'm kind of like I think they'll be okay. And if they're not, frankly, it wouldn't surprise me, right? Like it wouldn't surprise me. Who did you say again? You said
The Bengals.
you said the Bengals. Here's the thing about the Bengals, right? It's easier said than done. The quarterback just got to go out there and throw the ball. You got two top wide receivers out there. You got a running back that's very decent. And frankly, I think that they're going to surprise some people. And I think they're going to go out and trade for another quarterback. Maybe it's Jameis, maybe it's somebody else. But if they trade for another quarterback, I think they could shock some people. You got a lot of firepower out there. And if they don't, they also missed the playoffs last year. So would we really be surprised? We know what this story looks like without Joe Burrow. My team that I'm going with, worst 2-0 team. And I don't even know if they're the worst, but frankly, I just feel like not enough people are talking about how fraudulent they are. The Arizona Cardinals, bro.
I was gonna mention them too, so I knew you was going with that.
Bro, I have no faith in Kyler Murray. He plays more Call of Duty than I play 2K, right? Like, I have no faith in Kyler Murray, bro, and that's really where I'm at. I was on another pod and somebody argued me for a whole hour, and people in the comments did too, that Kyler Murray was a top 10 quarterback. I can name you 20 better than him right now. In my opinion,
10
I just don't think Kyler Murray is that guy. I don't. I think he's uber talented. He easily could be one of the most talented quarterbacks in the National Football League. But they're 2-0, and frankly, they didn't. I don't believe that they've played like very good teams. They played the Saints, bro. Like people are talking about who other teams have played that are 2-0, but they played the Saints. That's one of their wins. I don't know that that's a viable win in my opinion. Like that doesn't move the needle for me. It just doesn't move the needle for me. So, I don't think that the Saints are. I don't think that the Cardinals are. I don't know. They're just a fraudulent 2-0 team. And it may not come in week 3. It may not come in week 4. It may not come in week 5. But usually by week 10, they're struggling to finish the season. Kyler Murray has fallen off a cliff. And we've seen them do this before. I think that's my biggest problem is that we've seen them play. We've seen Kyler Murray look very good at the beginning of the season. And for whatever reason, after about week 10, with about 6 or 7 games to go, he just nosedives off of a cliff. And everybody's like, what the hell happened to Kyler Murray?
I think the main thing for him this year, like obviously Gannon over there, head coach, I think their defense would be fine. When he was with the Eagles, that defense was top notch. So like I don't really have questions about not Carolina, but the Arizona defensively. I want to know if Kyler can stay healthy. Like a lot of problems they come is because he's a smaller frame quarterback and he gonna have to run around sometimes. And you got 300-pound linemen coming at you, bro. It's easier to get hurt. So it's like, can he do enough to stay healthy and help his team like continue to win ball games? They got to find a way to make sure Marvin Harrison gets involved. You didn't draft him top 5 for no reason. It's a give and take with it, right? Because I know people get like star receivers and you like force feed them. And some teams like, if the ball go to them, great. But if it don't, we're not going to force it. Sometimes I feel like, especially if you go after somebody in the top 5 pick, he's your guy. You got to make sure he gets fed. And I don't think they do a good job of that. And sometimes I think that can stall their offense. So when they can figure out how to keep, their best players involved outside of like Kyler and, Connor in the backfield, they can possibly surprise people in a division that's low-key wide open, right? Because you got the 49ers and obviously Brock Purdy's out. They got Mac Jones starting now. Although he looked good this past Sunday, it's like, all right, there's, we
He's
don't know
still
what's
Mac
going to happen.
Jones.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So we don't know what's going to happen there. The Seahawks and Sam Darnold, it's like, all right, we know what Sam can play. We know Sam can play because the Vikings was 14-3 last year. They still a good football team. Seattle is going to be interesting to see because it's like, can Sam take them over the hump better than Geno did? And like possibly, but like there's question marks there. So like in a division where there's not truly a front runner, in my opinion, the Cardinals, if they can sustain the success they're having right now, could possibly win a division and shock some heads. But it's all about if that offense can stay consistent and make sure they put up points. And I don't know if I'm sold on that yet.
Yeah,
well, have to see when the Cardinals play a tougher opponent.
They're clearly not going to win their division though. Even if the 49ers aren't going to be who the 49ers usually are, I don't believe in them more than Matthew Stafford and the Rams. That's just the end all be all, and that's going to be tough. If you don't win in that division, it's going to be tough to be that second team to make the playoffs because there's some other NFC divisions where you're going to get 2 playoff teams. So yeah, that one's going to be tough. Moving though, best 0-2 team. Say it. Go ahead.
You know what? I got 2 teams, and they're actually playing each other in primetime. I've got the New York Giants, and I've got the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that Russell Wilson silenced a lot of haters against your Cowboys, Cope. You know what? You said that people were calling for Jackson Dart to come in and start. What does Russell Wilson do? Oh, he only throws for 450 yards. Granted, was not a very good interception at the end of the game there, but finding Malik Neighbors down the stretch in the final 25 seconds of the game, that was special. Shout out to Brandon Aubrey, y'all, though. You guys got the best kicker in the league, no doubt, nailing that 64-yard field goal. That was crazy. And then the Chiefs, they lose to 2 quality opponents. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, the no shame in losing to the Philadelphia Eagles by 3 points. And then honestly, it's a tough game in Brazil. I think the Chargers are definitely for real. So I wouldn't hold it against the Chiefs too much. I think it's an interesting matchup, and I actually would not be surprised if the Giants keep this game very close.
Ty?
I'm gonna piggyback and save the Chiefs as well. Obviously, I just feel like no matter how bad the offense looks right now, they have Patrick Mahomes, and when you employ arguably the best quarterback in the National Football League, it's hard for me to say you're not going to turn it around. They started 0-2 last year and went to the Super Bowl. Not saying they're going to do that again this year, but I just think the foundation is there. The players are still there. They definitely missed Rashee Rice. So, I mean, when he gets back into the fold, what does the team look like? Can they string a few wins along and kind of get back into where they need to be? I believe so, because at the end of the day, you employ Patrick Mahomes, but they're going to need some other guys to kind of start stepping up. And for one, they're going to have to be able to run the football. Patrick Mahomes leads their team in rushing yards. That's not sustainable. Especially when Patrick's not Lamar. He's not Jaden Daniels. He's not somebody that's actively looking. We're not actively looking to call quarterback design runs for him. So when he's leading your team in rushing, you have a real problem. So they need to figure that out. And I'm going to blame, everybody want to steal the Patriots kind of model, right? We can bring anybody in there. They're going to play up to par because we got whoever. I just don't think that's sustainable for everybody. And like the Chiefs, you can't just think you can replace good, talented people with no names. I just don't think that's helping Mahomes now, and we're seeing it. You got your boy out there running around like he crazy trying to make plays, and it's just not going to work for 16, 17 games, or if they so happen to make the playoffs. Because like you were mentioning, the Chargers are for real this year, and I believe so too. So this might be the year the Chargers get over the hump and win that division, and now it's like, well, Kansas City, can we get good enough to win to get a wild card spot? Obviously, it's still early, so like who knows what happens, but they got some things to figure out. But out of the 0-2 teams, I can't go past the Chiefs because it's like you just played in the Super Bowl. Majority of that team's still there, so you got to figure it out.
Before I go, Sid, you think that the New York Giants are a better 0-2 team than the Houston Texans?
It's, you know what? Those are just two of my top picks. Texans are right up there with them. I mean, they did find a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory against Baker Mayfield and the Bucs, but I also think that the Bucs are a legitimate contender and are the clear favorites to win the NFC South.
Fair enough. So, my best 0-2 team, obviously the Kansas City Chiefs. I like Ty said, you employ Patrick Mahomes, you got a chance. You got a shot. I hate the narrative around them right now. Xavier Worthy is out. Rashee Rice is out. And they still, like said, and I know Sid was saying it in a very sarcastic manner, but there's no shame in losing to the Eagles by 3 points on week 2.
Or the Chargers, for that matter, because that was a close game.
You're right. Or the Chargers. So to me, I think the most interesting part about them losing is they only lost by 3 points. Each game was a one-score game. If you mean to tell me that if somebody can straight face tell me that Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice are not at least capable of one touchdown or putting them in field goal position to either tie or win both of those games, then you got it. Like if you can tell me that neither one of those guys are capable of putting them in scoring position to win those games or at least tie those games and send them to overtime, and I'm gonna be honest with you, in overtime, give me Patrick Mahomes over anybody. Here's the other scary part to me. A lot of people are doubting the Chiefs, and like you said, Ty, they just need to make a wild card. I'm gonna be honest with you. They make a wild card. Why would I take anybody? If I were a betting man, and I'm not, I'm not. But if I were to be a betting man, why would I bet against Patrick Mahomes? Why would I ever in life bet against Patrick Mahomes? I would never. So to me, it's one of those things where people are doubting the Chiefs, but I'm just like, bro, they just need to make it somewhere. They just need to make it to a place. If they get to the playoffs, all bets are off, and everybody is 0-0 again. Once you get to the playoffs, it's a one-game season. Everybody is 0-0, and give me Patrick Mahomes over anybody in the AFC right now, today, every day, 7 days of the week in the playoffs. Now, obviously,
now you're including that over Baltimore and Buffalo again.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, bro. Here's the thing about it. It's not that I think that they're a better team, more talented team, any of those things. You just haven't beat them yet. And until one of them beats Patrick Mahomes, I can't there's one team and one quarterback that I would definitively at this point say like, okay, if I'm a betting man, I might have to bet with them. And it's Jalen. It's Jalen and the Eagles. That's the only person. And it's because he's the only one that I've consistently seen that continues to consistently beat Patrick Mahomes. And on the biggest stages, might I add. Outside of that, I think somebody said the other day that in the last three games that Jalen Hurts and the Eagles have played against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, Jalen Hurts is 3-0 in the last three games. I think it's something like that. So, which means he's the only one that's consistently beating Patrick Mahomes. Everybody else, once you get to the playoffs, y'all just fold against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs for whatever reason. So, why would I take anybody else? Give me the Chiefs as the best 0-2 team. I would be remiss to not speak about Houston for at least a second, bro. I'm not a big believer in Houston. I just refuse to talk down on CJ Stroud. I'm not a big believer in Houston, but I refuse to talk down on CJ Stroud because I feel like until you get him an offensive line and some help, and until Nico Collins plays the way that we believe Nico Collins can play, now obviously CJ isn't you know partially not to blame. CJ Stroud does take some of this blame, but until they get him an offensive line and some help out there, like I just think, and until Tank Dell comes back, you know what I'm saying. Now I do think he still has a very capable offense. I do think Dalton Schultz is a serviceable tight end. I think Nick Chubb, a year back removed from what was it, that crazy knee injury. I do think Nico Collins is a freak athlete. I do think he still has a serviceable team. But until he can, and I think he's a rhythm thrower too, and I think that's the biggest problem. He's a rhythm thrower, and when he gets off platform and he has to do some different things, I don't think his throws look as good. Sometimes they're inaccurate. And right now he doesn't have the most time to make his throws because of that offensive line. But man, hey, if
Um,
they can figure something out,
I just don't
I
think it's
think they'll be all
likely.
right.
I just
Huh?
don't think it's likely for them. And it's not even because, like, obviously, I believe in Stroud. We've seen what he did his rookie year, so like he can play the position. That's not the issue. Offensive line, like you said, it's keep going unattentive. Like they won't make real necessary improvements to it, and that's gonna bite them in the butt. And to be honest, I just think they messed up when they decided to fire or part ways with Slowick, the original offensive coordinator. Last year, I think he got a bad rap. He's not the personnel guy. Like he's not going out there and signing players. The line was the line. That's the GM's job. So they got into a thing where it's like, oh, the offenses look terrible. It's the offensive coordinator. No, the offense look terrible because they can't block. It don't matter who's calling plays. It don't matter who you put in the, you know what I'm saying? No matter who you line up to play quarterback if you can't block. You can put Patrick Mahomes out there. We seen what happened. Even Patrick Mahomes look like when there's no blocking for him. And we seen it in the Super Bowl. Like when he had to run around Buccaneers, the Eagles last year, like when you just don't have a line, no matter who plays quarterback, no matter what the system is, you're not going to be successful. So until they definitively look at the offensive line and say, "Hey, we're going to get you some tackles, we're going to get you some guards, we're going to get you a center," they're going to be where they at. They made the playoffs last year, barely. They're probably going to sneak in again this year if they can get some wins because the defense it's not terrible, but they're not great. Like you've seen it on the last drive. You let Baker and them go down the field in 2 minutes, and it was relatively easy. You had him on fourth down, and Baker runs for 20 yards, and then you got your boy over there talking junk like he done did something. Bro, y'all about to lose. Lock in, CJ. Your Eagles, lock in, CJ. Y'all over there finna lose. You trying to talk shit to Baker. Bro, the priorities are fucked up over there. Let's be real. It's fucked up over there. And that's the reason why everybody believes the Texans are going to be this great team. We're not. We're so far past what they need to be doing, bro. Until they make the decision to get Stroud some protection, it doesn't matter what they do, bro. And like you say, Nico, he got to get back healthy. He's getting there. He had a great touchdown catch in their last game. They're still missing the other receivers, and
Bro,
they
but
can't
that's the
run the
problem.
football.
That's the problem.
They
He
can't
had
run the
the
football. We always come
no,
back to
no,
it.
no, 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 no,
They
no. I'm not
cannot run
hearing
the
that.
football.
I'm not hearing that.
Nick Chubb had that 20-yard touchdown at the end of the game. But
Bro,
before
I'm
that,
not hearing that. And here's why.
they can't
Here's
run the
why.
ball, bro. That's the problem.
I'm not
That's
hearing
another
that.
problem.
I'm not hearing that, bro. And here's why. Nick Chubb is a year removed from that disastrous what looked like could have been career-ending knee injury. I don't know if you remember the play, but that joint, like, it's not many plays, and
It makes
because I
me
play football, it's not many times where I like actually have to look away from the TV screen. That knee injury, I literally had to look away from the TV screen, like, oh my goodness, what happened? That being said, he's a year removed from that. Well, last year was his first season back from that. He got a little more banged up last year, whatever. Now he's back again. I believe that he will be okay. People are saying they can't run the football, and bro, here's the thing: like they decently, Nick Chubb decently ran the football in game one. Who can run the football against the Buccaneers? Nobody. Do you know who that is playing the one tech over there? There's not a team in the league. There's not a team in the league right now that I actually believe can run the football against the Buccaneers. There's not. And as good as I think that Houston defense is, bro, that Buccaneers defense, while they're not quite as good as that Houston defense, and we'll get to the Houston defense in a second. While they're not quite as good as that Houston defense, there might not be a better run stuffer in the league than that guy over there in Tampa.
For sure.
So I believe that plays a large factor in the ability of a team to be able to run the ball. And because we're only 2 games in, and because week 1 was Nick Chubb's first game back from being banged up again in Cleveland last season. And week 2, he had to play one of the best run stuffers in the league. I'm like, bro, the verdict is still out on whether or not they can actually run the football. And they might be able to, because we seen them run the football last year. We seen them run the football last year. Joe Mixon looked like he returned to original Joe Mixon form last season. Nobody believed that would happen, and then he did, right? So you got Joe Mixon coming back in week 4 or 5-ish, they're saying. You got Nick Chubb back there. That might be a very elite 1-2 punch. I'm just saying. Just hold your horses.
Maybe 4 or 5 years ago, boy, you might have had me. I'd have been like Mixon and Chubb in the backfield, boy. We got a problem. Today, I'm like
Mixon returned to form last season, though. Did he not?
Joe's cool. But Nick Chubb.
Yes, he did. Mixon was on my fantasy team, and that resulted in a fantasy championship.
I was about to say he was a 1-2 threat all on his own. He was the receiving back and the running back all on his own last season.
We're gonna see, man. We're gonna see. I'm not a believer in a run game just yet, but like you say, I'm gonna give him a couple of weeks. I'm gonna wait until.
I'm about to say you don't have to be a believer yet. I'm just saying hold your horses before you got to go out there before you have to go on an apology tour. You know what I'm saying? And week 9 when they out there and. Yeah, we can't throw the ball. We just gonna give it to Joe and Nick. Hey,
it ain't happening.
I'm just trying to save you from an apology tour, and it may or may not happen. It may or may not happen.
On the record. You can clip this up. Look, the Texans will not be able to run the football effectively this year. I'm not a believer. I don't care who you put back there. It ain't happening. If they make the playoffs, it's gonna be solely on C.J. Stroud's arm. And now everybody know what they're looking for. If they can run the football, by all means, I hope they can. But what I seen that last week, there's no hope for it. Like when you consider, you're not even listen though. They're not even getting pressure off the ball, off the line of scrimmage. You're not even pushing anybody back. That's not helpful for nobody's back there. They don't got B. John. They don't got B. John back there. This ain't a shifty little back. They don't got Saquon either. It ain't happening, bro. I'm not a believer. It's not happening. So when Mixon come back in week 4, week 5, or later, and if they can run the ball, I'll get up here again and say, Houston, I'm sorry. But right now, Houston, we got a problem, and this a real one.
Hey, apology tour coming your way. Anyways, let's check in on the viewers, man. Let's check in on the comment section. Shout out to my pops. I'm not sold on the Chargers yet. They beat the Chiefs without any receivers and a Travis Kelce who looks cooked right now and no running game. They looked good against them, but they looked just decent in my opinion over the Raiders who beat the Patriots. Let's get to the Chargers. I'm gonna let y'all go first because I gotta.
The Chargers?
Yeah.
Well, the Chargers, I think they're for real. I think they're absolutely for real. I think they're winning the division. You know, I think that they looked good in Brazil against Kansas City, and I thought they looked, for the most part, pretty good against the Raiders. That defense is legit. Justin Herbert, they're actually willing to throw the ball this time. So not only do they have the run heavy, they're not run heavy this year. They're willing to throw the ball. I mean, Quentin Johnson has been spectacular through the first 2 weeks. All of a sudden, Keenan Allen goes back to LA from Chicago, and he looks unwashed. I mean, where did that come from? So, I mean, Justin Herbert has some weapons on this team. And I think that with that added aspect, this team is going to go very, very far.
Coaching matters, right? I think coaching really matters. And they have a good coach over there. Whether people kind of hate him right now because whatever scandal went on in Michigan when he was in college, that's fine. They got a good coach. And the problem before the last coach, he came in here and said, we ain't throwing the ball 40, 50 times. Although Herbert can do it, we're going to have to be able to run the football effectively somehow. They're still working on that, but I think they improved as a team coaching. And I think that's the biggest. I feel like a year or two ago, that game against the Chiefs, they would have lost. But I think coaching has got them a better place overall. It's not really much of a personnel change from the people that are playing. Because, like, even this year, Quentin Johnson, he had a bunch of bad drops last year. He's looked pretty great for me the first two games. The defense, they look better. Like, Derwin James still a dog. You still got dogs on that. Khalil Mack's there. You still got dogs on that side of football. So I think the biggest thing is for them is make sure Justin Herbert stays healthy. Although I'm not a big Herbert supporter, he got the potential to do everything he needs them to do. If he can stay healthy and they can still not turn the ball over and play good defense, the sky's the limit. Because at the end of the day, when you have a good coach, everything just start to fall in together. And right now, I think we're starting to see it take effect. And I wouldn't be surprised this year if they win a division. That doesn't mean they're going to go far in the playoffs, but it's a start, right? You got to start somewhere. Kansas City been running that division for years now. Until somebody makes the real step up like the Chargers did, and obviously they played in Brazil. So we got to put an asterisk by that. I don't know how the game goes if this is in Kansas City, right? We got to put an asterisk by it. But I think where they stand right now is years ahead where they've been last year, 2-3 years before that. So I like what I've seen. They just got to keep improving.
I'm with my pops, man. And this might be biased. I'm going to go ahead and let y'all know this might be biased because I am not a Justin Herbert believer. Truly, I'm not. But I think he has looked very good. The reason I'm not a Justin Herbert believer is because everybody thinks that he's the best thing since sliced bread. You want to know what I think? You want to know what I actually think about Justin Herbert? This is my take on Justin Herbert. I believe that everybody realized how and is upset about how wrong they were about Trevor Lawrence, and they just were like, "Oh, we're gonna pass it off to Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert will be our savior now." Everybody wanted it to be Trevor Lawrence. T-Law is not that guy. And they're like, "Hey, Justin Herbert is our guy. That's the savior right there." Justin Herbert is not. We'll see. He's young. He'll continue to get better, I believe. The reason I'm actually, huh?
I would just say I think he has all the tools to be great. I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if he will be though. Yeah, I don't know if he will be. And I'm still and the thing about it is hey, listen. Everybody told us they just needed a coach. And that's what they said, right? Oh, I just need a coach. I just need some weapons. And then it was I just need a coach. You got Ladd McConkey out there, and then you just drafted Amarion Hampton, and somehow, my boy J.K. Dobbins ran the ball great for them last year. And somehow they have managed, and this is the weirdest part about it, their OC over there, Greg Roman, is known for running the football. He's known for running the football. Shout out to him because he's been able to, and because his run offenses and his offenses are so run heavy, shout out to him for being able to adjust, realizing like, Amarion and Najee are not getting the job done right now. So we're gonna move the ball through the air. That's not something that I thought that you would be able to do. I thought that this would just be a run heavy team. And if they weren't, and if they didn't figure it out, if they didn't figure out their run game, they might have been cooked. But Shout out to him. Shout out to Justin Herbert. They've done a pretty good job through the first 2 games of the season. Now, like you said, they beat the Chiefs in Brazil. Um, I don't really give the Chiefs that much of an excuse because at this stage of Patrick Mahomes' career, I think he should be winning those games in Brazil. I think at this stage of Patrick Mahomes' career, he should be winning anywhere. Um, but yeah, they went out and beat like my pop said, they went out and beat the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders are that good of a team either. And I think it's very hard right now for Ashton Genty to run the ball. And admittedly, the Chargers made that a difficult task for Ashton Genty to run the ball. But I don't think the Raiders are a very good team. I'm still not sure if Pete Carroll still got it. Gino, we still trying to figure out if Gino is
It
going
was
to
a rough
be.
game for Geno against the Chargers. Very
You
rough.
still what?
It was rough for Geno against the
Yeah,
Chargers. It was
like we
very
still
rough.
waiting to see if Gino gonna figure it out in Vegas or not. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of moving parts going over there in Vegas where I'm just like, I'm not sure. Brock Bowers had a knee, he didn't practice all week. Then all of a sudden he magically just he played. I, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I'm just not. And here's the thing: they'll make the playoffs, right? And I think for me, the biggest problem that I have with the Chargers right now is that I believe that they'll make the playoffs. It's one of those. I feel the same way about Justin Herbert that a lot of other people used to feel about the Cowboys and Dak Prescott. I think you're gonna make the playoffs. I'm pretty confident that you'll make the playoffs. What are you gonna do once you make the playoffs though? And I think that's kind of where I've gotten to with Justin Herbert, where it's like, all right, you I think you'll get there. I think you'll be okay. You'll get there. But now what? Now what? You said you needed a coach, they got you a coach. Said you needed some weapons, they got you some weapons. Quentin Johnson, it looks like more of a positive than a negative this year. Hey,
Early.
so what you gonna do with it?
Could change again, but definitely.
Yeah, what are you gonna do with it? So I'm just not like the biggest believer in them, but we'll see what happens with them. We'll see what happens. Um yeah. So next. Shador. Reports came out this week that Shador Sanders told the Ravens not to draft him because he didn't want to sit behind Lamar Jackson, which frankly, I'm not mad at. But that's why he said he didn't want to sit behind Lamar Jackson. Um, you know, what do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about that?
I'm not mad at it per se. Like, I really think it depends, right? In terms of if he's looking to play early, then like of course, as long as Lamar is in Baltimore, you're not stepping on the field unless you get hurt. And I mean, it's possible for Lamar to get hurt, but that don't mean you're gonna truly get reps. But you would have been the backup. You would have been QB2. You probably would have been QB2 in Baltimore. You wouldn't have played at all, but you would have been QB2. But do you want the chance to eventually play earlier in Cleveland? And it's like, it sounds good in theory. But then we kind of seeing how all the reports started after he got drafted, when he got to Cleveland about, you know what I'm saying, they don't really want to play him. They took Dylan Gabriel before him anyway, so of course he's going to be in front of him in the depth chart. They decided to start Flacco, which I don't think that was really any mystery to anybody because who else was going to run out there? But I think people are calling him dumb, and I don't really understand it. Like, it's easy to call him dumb now because hindsight's 2020, and he probably couldn't predict it that the Browns would do what they've been doing to him. So it's like, no, I'm saying hindsight's 2020, but like overall, at the point in time at the draft, if you would have told me, do I want to go to Baltimore behind Lamar Jackson, or do I want to go to Cleveland, who I know quarterback situation is terrible, I would choose Cleveland 100% of the time, especially if I'm away in my rookie year. Although it's probably not going to work out it's not going to work out for him like that this year. But it's like, in theory, before we've seen anything that happened to him in training camp, I would have chose the Browns too. So like, I'm not mad at him. I just think people need to really go through the thought process of why he decided to choose the Browns over the Ravens. Like, it's easy to say he's stupid now because he emergency quarterback QB3 at one point or another. They were like, they don't even know he's gonna make the team, blah blah blah. But like, he wouldn't have played in Baltimore either. So like, what's really the issue?
That
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of funny that we were talking about Shador Sanders potentially going to the Browns early in the second round, and he ends up going very, very late. Who had Shador Sanders before the draft being a day 3 pick? And to be honest with you, we saw how he performed that first preseason game. That first preseason game, he looked very, very good, a heck of a lot better than Dylan Gabriel, that's for sure. They trade away Kenny Pickett, so maybe you think he gets an opportunity there. But at the end of the day, it's not all that surprising that they're rolling with Gabriel, despite Shador clearly, in my opinion, playing better in the preseason action that we've seen from him. I think that people are holding a lot of character flaws against him. Maybe some things that his dad said didn't help either. But whether or not he'll get an opportunity in Cleveland, I mean, is this going to be Joe Flacco's last year? Is this on record? As Joe Flacco said, he will retire after this season? You still have Deshaun under contract over there. So is Cleveland the place for Shador to get an opportunity, though?
Yeah. Nah, that first of all, that Deshaun thing is cooked, brother. He may never see another professional football field again. But yeah, Shador, he made the right decision for him. If he felt like he was good enough to go out and start week 1. And frankly, why wouldn't he feel that way? Everybody had him as a projected number 2 overall pick, or at least at maximum a top 10 overall pick before what, February, before March, So I'm not sure. It's still yet to be known exactly what happened there, whether there was coercion between the owners and the GMs and whoever else. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but what we do know is that whatever happened, it did happen. Um, is he wrong for telling Baltimore that he didn't want to come and sit behind Lamar Jackson? No. Is he right for what he did? Yes. Did it work out in his favor? Yes, it did. Now, obviously, to a lot of people, it probably doesn't look like it worked out in his favor right now, but I think this is right. Flacco is about to go 0-4, then they'll start Gabriel, and he'll get a shot by week 7. I believe in that. I don't know if it'll be as early as week 7 because there's some there's some issues over there that are unbeknownst to all of us as far as what their actual dislike is for Shador. I don't know if it'll be as early as week 7, but I do believe that is the way that this thing will go. Shador will see the field this season, and it will be because Joe Flacco will get up out of there. And yes, Joe Flacco will retire after this year. If it doesn't go well, if they don't pick it up and they don't start to get some wins around here, Joe Flacco will retire at the end of this year. Well, hell, he may not suit up again. He may not. Once he gets benched, he may not even suit up again. He'll just be a player's coach. He'll be the Udonis Haslem of he'll be the Udonis Haslem of the Cleveland Browns by week 8, right? So he may not suit up no more. And then after that, you get Dylan Gabriel. I'm not a Dylan Gabriel believer. I seen what Dylan Gabriel did in college, and I seen him fold down the stretch at Oregon. I don't think he's a big time game player. I don't think he is. I just don't believe in him. I don't think anything about him is that. I don't think it's that good. I don't think it's that. And Shador will get his shot before the end of the season, and hopefully, whatever this thing is that they have against him and Dion and the rest of the Sanders family, hopefully they get rid of it. And once he gets his shot, he'll be able to maintain. I'm not a believer in all of the he had to play with the 6th and 7th string right tackle and left guard in the last preseason game. I don't tend to give those excuses, but I do understand where everybody was coming from. It didn't look good. It did look good when he was playing out there with the 1s and 2s. But I do believe once he gets his shot, he'll be perfectly okay. I got a question. Does anybody think Shiloh gets picked back up, or is it is Shiloh about to just go and do fashion or something now?
It's probably clips. Because to my knowledge, he hasn't got picked up right after he got waived.
Nah, he hasn't gotten picked up.
It's clips. It's clips. Like you say, it don't help. 1, he was already undrafted. 2, it doesn't help. Whatever the natural, what's the word I'm looking for? the natural demeanor, I guess, around their family, right? Or whatever people problems they have with him. Like, regardless of how you feel about Shiloh coming out, we know for a fact Shador was better than the 5th-round pick. We know that for a fact. I don't care what nobody tells me. I watched him enough to know if you've taken Dylan Gabriel in the 2nd round, Shador should have been 3rd. He should have been 2nd. He should have been whatever. So there's something, a general consistency around the Sanders family that apparently they just don't like them. It doesn't really help when you're already a borderline fringe player of making a roster or staying in the league, and then you kind of have that bad negative negative things around you. So it's like, I don't know. It's probably clips. If he wants to play in the league, if he truly wants to play in the league, I would probably prefer him to play in like the CFL or the UFL and kind of put shit on tape so they can be like, you kind of look good. Maybe we'll bring you back for another chance. But if he decides to sit on his butt and not do anything, it's probably clips for him.
You know what? The best success story out of that is actually Kobe, your Cowboys, your kicker, Brandon Aubrey. He looked pretty good in the USFL. Got an opportunity. He's the best kicker in the league.
Yeah.
Also, Kevontae Turpin, who was the MVP of the league that year before he got to the Cowboys, and now he's one of the best special teams returners in the league, and he's turning it into a wide receiver now. Listen, Todd, to your point, I don't listen. If that's what it's gonna take for him to get back on the NFL roster, it's over, bro. Like I don't believe, like, okay, if this happened to Shador and he was like, all right, bro, you got to go and play in the UFL or what is it, the XFL or whatever for a season just so people will see that you're like, you know, I think he would do it. Is Shiloh going to do it? No. Shiloh is not going to play in another league for a year just to get tape out, just to try, just for a shot at potentially a tryout to get back in the NFL. I don't believe he does that. That's gonna be that'll be ugly for him. Listen, we got a game tomorrow. We haven't talked about these two teams yet, other than to say that one of them just refuses to be able to beat Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. We got Bills Dolphins tomorrow for Thursday Night Football. First of all, let's talk about these two things. I saw this on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter. My apologies. I saw this on X yesterday, I believe. Somebody said that the doubleheader Monday Night Football game needs to be abolished. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, it's easy for us to say on the East Coast, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because nobody really wants to stay up till 1 a.m, especially on the. They might be chilling out on the West Coast. You know what I mean? 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock, games are over by 10 o'clock. Might be cool for them, but for us East Coast people, ain't nobody want to stay up till 1 a.m. It is what it is.
Yeah, on a Monday night, that's a bad look. That's a bad look. Ty, go ahead.
Majority of fans work 9 to 5s. You want them to stay up past their bedtime to watch a 10 o'clock game that is probably neither one of their teams playing. It's probably not going to happen. So, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. Truthfully, I don't really care for it. Like, if they decide to keep it or not, that's their prerogative. But, like, if they was to abolish it, I wouldn't lose sleep over it.
I think it kind of gets back to a point that you just made, Ty, that most NFL fans are 9 to 5 workers. And the leagues, not just the NFL, the NBA, I think the only one that really hasn't done it yet is the MLB. The leagues have priced their fans out of the league. Like, you talk about the streaming services, you need all 25 streaming services to watch the NFL games now. You try to go to a game at one of the stadiums and you gotta give up a whole year's salary to be able to get to be able to get in a game. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know somebody or you don't get a good deal, I just think that the product as a whole right now is just bad. NBA and NFL, they are bad. I mean, if you go to the NBA, getting rid of the show on TNT with Ernie, Shaq, and Chuck and them, like that's bad business. That's bad business. And then needing all 16, streaming platforms to be able to watch the games is bad. Thursday Night Football is also a bad product. I believe short weeks is horrible. You get a situation where, Ty, your guy Austin Eckler Austin Eckler.
We got at least 6 players from that game are hurt right now.
Yeah, because you won a Thursday night football game in week 2. It's nasty out there. Nobody's prepared for that yet. I just don't think that Thursday night football is the best product. And frankly, the games are never really that good. The games are never, the games are never like as good as
Highly
you want them to
entertaining.
be. Yeah. But then we have guys like this. We're still super excited about football being back. Give it all to me. Also, they only do it once a year. I'm cool with it because it's usually the first or second week of the season. Okay, cool. That was to the Monday night. I'll watch Pee Wee League football on TV right now.
That's fact. That's a
Listen,
real fan though.
yeah. We got a real football fan there in my pops. What a guy. Listen, I love it. I love football. The Thursday night games are just horrible because, bro, they're not good games. They're just never good games right now. They're never good games. Like, I love being able to watch football on a Thursday night. It really just does something to like ramp me up for the weekend before Friday hits. But it is a bad product. But anyways,
I would argue y'all week 1 game was kind of good. I mean, because y'all played the Eagles Thursday night.
But that's the difference, though. Like that's the difference
First game of the
between
year.
our week. Yeah, I was about to say that's the difference between our week 1 Thursday night game and your week 2 Thursday night game. Yeah. Week 1 Thursday night game, nobody has played yet. Everybody's fresh. You know what I'm saying? You get a great product. It's the first game of the season. Week 2 Thursday night game, you got starters that haven't played all season. This is going to be their second game of the season, their second game in 4 days. They haven't played yet. They haven't hit. Like I didn't see anybody get hit in Commanders preseason. I was with the Commanders all year. Nobody hit. Austin Eckler didn't take a single hit. And then he gets a non-contact injury. Why? Because he played his second game in 4 days.
I disagree with the sentiment of not playing your starters in preseason for that specific reason. Like, I hate when they be like, oh, don't play your starters. Or they were crying when Joe Burrow was in a preseason game getting hit. Bro, it's football. What sport do you play? What sport do y'all play? It's football. Why are we complaining about people being on the field getting hit when it's football? When week 1 come around, you're going to get hit anyway. So what's the difference? If you can't take a hit in preseason, you ain't going to be able to take it in week 1. And I'm going to be interested to see if people try to use Burrow's injury and try to tie it into him playing longer in the preseason. I just want to see if they're going to try. Somebody will. I know some Twitter. Yeah. They always try.
And if they do, I got Austin Eckler for him. I got Austin Eckler on the. I would like to be able to call Austin Eckler for you, who ran a halfback swing route out of the backfield. Play was to the whole other side, and all he did was get excited and get ready to take off, and all of a sudden his Achilles is blown. Whatever.
Hey, shout out to Austin though, because more than likely you won't be a Commander next year. So I appreciate what you've done for the last 2 years. And I hope you have a speedy recovery. Thank you for your services.
Yeah. But back to the game that's actually happening on Thursday. Bills Dolphins. What I think will also be another bad game. I don't understand the type of scheduling we're doing on a Thursday night. If you got one shot, you got one shot to get it right. I'd be damned if I put Tua on national TV on Thursday night against the Bills. You had one team who made the AFC Championship game, and you had another team whose quarterback may or may not should be still playing football. What are we doing? You got one shot to get it right. That should be a Sunday 1 p.m., not even really like national televised game. Huh?
I said, can they play at 9 in the morning?
You know what I'm saying? Like, what do they call it? NFL Sunday mornings now? Like, whatever, bro. That's a game you could have sent to Munich, Germany, and they would have been just excited and happy to have it just because it's football in another country. Whatever. I think the point is, though, who decided to put Tua on national TV on a Thursday night? You got one shot to get it right. And I got to pay for the Prime subscription to watch the game? And this is the product that you give me? It's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah,
but it's going to be – that's not right, man. That's not right. That's not right. Tua making concussed in 22 hours is crazy. He may though. He may. It's just bad. It's just bad. That's bad decision making on the league's part. Nonetheless,
The team's part too, because I would have been like, yo, you're sitting out at least a year. There's too
Yeah.
many concussions back to back to back. I want
Yeah.
you to be able to walk and talk and play with your kids when you retire, bro. Like,
yeah.
and you steady. No, that's not it. If I was the Dolphins, I would have like, listen, we gave you that contract, take the contract and retire, dog. Like, it's cool.
Just get out of here. Just get out of here.
You got nothing to prove, bro. You're one of
Yeah.
you're part of the 1% forever. Like, nobody can take that away from you. But your time has ended.
Yeah.
And I think that's half of the reason for the Dolphins' struggles is because Tua is not going to be what he used to be. Before the concussions, when they had their best time, Tua was great. The concussions now, Tua's not going to be so great. Like, I watched some film of the Dolphins earlier. Like, he can't protect the football no more. He's selling throws. Like, there's just too many problems for Tua to keep him at quarterback. And then you're not mobile. And I have to worry every time you get hit if you're going to get up or not. It's too much stress for me for him to be my quarterback.
Well, and let's not forget, McDaniel is already acting like a coach that's already been fired. Did anybody see his press conference on Monday? I mean, to win the game, you have to go out and win the game and not lose. I mean, he's speaking like a guy that will be gone after tomorrow night.
I knew it was bad. When you lose to the coach 33-8, and the first thing I do is call a players only meeting, that tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah, you lost the coach. If your team in week one calls a players only meeting, you have already lost the team. The team is gone. That's no longer your team. That is no longer your team. Let's close out with predictions though for the game tomorrow. Ty?
Give me 30-10 Buffalo.
Yeah, I got something similar, man. 31-17 Buffalo. That's being generous.
You're giving Tua 17. You're giving Tua 17 points tomorrow, and he just
They still
lost
got Hill and Waddle
33-8
out
to the
there,
Colts. Huh?
They still got Hill, Waddle, and Achane out there.
Weapons on offense, they just can't do nothing with them.
Give me I'm gonna go 30. I'm gonna go 38. I'm gonna go 38-13. And the reason I'm going 38 is because they put up 33. They put up 33 against the Colts, or the Colts put up 33 against the Seahawks. Yeah, I'm going 38-13 Bills. I'm going 38-13 Bills.
We're all in agreement. It ain't gonna be close.
It's not going to be pretty. Yeah. And shout out real quick to Bud Crawford, last Saturday for that historic win against Canelo Alvarez, the first undisputed fighter ever in 3 weight classes. I feel like at least that deserves mentioning on the show.
Oh no, even before I was like, I'm thinking Canelo probably win. Like, but jumping up those weight classes, that's not.
I thought it was too small for Canelo. That's what I thought.
And then he got in the ring. I said, well, Canelo ain't ready for him. Like, he took Canelo to school, but it was a great fight to watch anyway, because I respect it. Like, you know what I'm saying? 2 of the greatest to ever do it, step in the ring together and go after it. Nothing but love for both of them.
You know what I thought? I thought the interesting part was that Bud would be able to fight at his walk around weight, which is not something that people tend to be able to do. But Bud being able to fight at his walk around weight was what I thought would give him, which is why it was like, to me, it was like, all right, I think he will be fine because he is fighting at his walk around weight. Obviously it's not something that happens often. Said, you're a boxer, so you would know better than I, but how hard is that to do, to be able to fight a full 12 rounds at your walk around weight?
It's a little bit tough. You're used to dropping weight and you're used to kind of rehydrating, back into the ring. So when you already weigh in that much, you're just much heavier than normal. So the fact that he was able to keep his speed, and then not only that, control the ring against Canelo Alvarez, use that ring generalship, be on his bike, fight in spots, be aggressive when he needed to be, counterpunch when he needed to. He did everything right. It was a perfect fight plan for Bud Crawford, and he just proved once again that he is generational.
Yeah. Y'all got anything else, man? Y'all got what y'all got? What y'all got? Closing thoughts. First episode. Appreciate everybody that stuck around. We got a bit over an hour. We got an hour and 5 minutes in, man.
You know,
Think that's a
man, it's
good
just good
time
to
for
be
the
back. That's
first.
my thoughts.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Back with the gang, you know what I'm saying? Get another pod going on. It's always great for that.
I mean, we did this for a whole year at Syracuse. The only difference is we didn't have
This.
video. We had,
Yeah.
we had audio. So, think
It's
it's
gonna be
great
great.
to get. Yeah, I think it's great to get going. Game recognized game episode 1, man. Appreciate everybody for coming out.
You know? Yeah.
Appreciate everybody for coming out. Said appreciate you for being here, man. Hopefully we get you back sometime soon. Ty, my guy, our idea came to life for the first time.
Yeah. It's a good thing to get it rolling. And
Hey
now we're
Ty,
gonna
we
we're gonna
got
keep on it.
a last question in the chat. What we doing, Ty?
Is there an episode before the Sunday games? I plan to have one. That's gonna be obviously, you know what I'm saying. Santa catches up here on Wednesdays. Me and Kobe gonna have to figure out if Friday is what we're gonna want to do, or it's gonna be kind of Thursday nightish. But it'll definitely be an episode before Sunday. So the plan right now, at least, is to be Wednesday and maybe Friday. Some logistics to work out, but it's gonna be somewhere in there.
I think we can cook something up before the games on Sunday. Hell, we might could. Nah, I'll leave that one. We'll talk about that one offline. We'll talk about that
For
one
sure.
offline. Might could go with an earlier episode on like a Saturday afternoon,
That's possible.
Sunday morning joint before the games come on, like a pre-show. Got a pre-show.
I can get with that. Look at that.
Maybe we
Ideas
could.
turning already. Look. I can get
Yeah,
with
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I
yeah,
ain't keep
yeah.
that. Instead of trying
First
to go out
episode,
Friday
man. We
night.
got to work out the kinks.
For sure.
We'll figure it out
Sure.
because we do for sure got to pick the games. We got to pick the games. Maybe I'll come with some live props for y'all before Sunday, so y'all can get y'all little FanDuel accounts ready. Maybe I'll do a little something for the viewers,
Put
man.
a bet special up there.
Yeah. Maybe I'll give y'all a promo code or something. GRG, Game Recognized Game, episode 1. Appreciate y'all for coming out, man. Sad, appreciate you for coming out. We'll be back at it next time. We'll see y'all again later on. Appreciate y'all.
For sure.